The movie opens with Ben arriving at a customer's home to do work. While at work, he gets a call from his ex-wife who tells him he might not be able to see his teenage daughter Olivia for another week. Ben has not seen Olivia for a while now, and she has also not been picking up his phone, so he has been afraid his daughter doesn't love him anymore. His ex tells him if he can take Olivia to school on Friday, then she can bring her on Thursday before she leaves, which Ben agrees to. The next day after work, Ben's ex drops off Olivia. Ben is excited to see his daughter and plans a fun night, but he mostly gets ignored. He tries to make connection by talking to her about her childhood, and he brings up fond memories, but Olivia is not interested. The next morning, Ben drives Olivia to school. He tells her to wait for him 15 minutes before the usual time so they can go fishing with his brother Mike. This is a family tradition, and Ben is hoping this will get him closer to Olivia. After class, Ben goes to pick up Olivia, but she is 15 minutes late. He finds her with a guy, but when he asks her about it, she tells him he is just a friend. They travel to the town's lake and meet up with Ben's brother Mike and his daughter. Ben and Olivia then go to the river to catch a fish, while Mike and his daughter set up the camp for the night. While fishing, Ben and Olivia finally get to talk, and Olivia reveals the reason she has been distant is because of her parents splitting up. She is actually angrier at her mother because she moved on too quickly, while Ben is trying to fix the relationship, and Olivia is sad seeing him get hurt. Ben comforts her and tells her the only person he needs in his life is her. The two then embrace each other with a big hug and later return to the campsite with their dinner. The two families have a great night and gather around the campfire and tell stories. While everyone is sleeping, Ben gets awakened by some kind of noise coming from the outside. He goes out of his tent to explore, but everything goes to black, and the next time we see him, Ben is on an operating table. Ben sees one woman and tries to talk to her, but she puts him to sleep. He wakes up later and now sees multiple women operating on him. This time, he is too weak and he goes back to sleep. The next day, he wakes up fully and he finds only one guy sitting beside him. Ben asks what happened to him and asks where his daughter is, but the man who is named Osik reveals to him that he is in a planet called Soltierra that is trillions of miles away from Earth. Ben is confused, and this is a joke, but Osik explains to him that Ben has been randomly selected to be a representative of Earth. Osik tells him he is like his lawyer and will be helping him prepare. Gottlieb will also help him, and the woman he first saw, Ella, have also agreed to do the same. For his first trial, Osik and Ella train him and tell him to be fully honest with the council. He is then brought into the courtroom and he starts getting asked about human family relations. Ben tells them about his daughter and his dysfunctional relationship with his ex-wife. The council then asks if this is common on Earth, to which he replies yes. They then ask him if he also had dysfunctional parents. He answers no, but reveals that his parents died when he was just 16. Ben tells them he still feels pain about it, which interests the council more. They ask him if other people also feel these kinds of emotions, and he replies yes. They then ask him if some people's emotions drive them to lose control and do bad things, to which he also answers yes. They also ask him about how people hurt each other, and Ben answers all the questions honestly, but his answers seem like they are helping the council's case. That night, Ella visits Ben in his room. She asks him about his parents, and he reveals to her that they died in a car accident. Their kind neighbor took him and Mike in, but Ben wanted to support himself, so he quitted school and started working. He met his ex-wife and quickly fell in love with her, but a year later, she got pregnant with Olivia. Ben was poor, but he knew he would have to raise his daughter right, so he worked even harder to support his family. His life was filled with love when he lived with his wife and daughter, but one day, his wife left him. Ben has been depressed since then, and just when he got to reconnect with his daughter, he got taken. Ella is touched by his story, and when he goes to sleep, she puts a device in his mind that lets him talk to his dead parents in his dream. His dream feels very real, and we see Ben spend time with his parents one last time. The next morning, Ben wakes up on an island, Ella tells him. Until he goes to the council to present his case, which will happen in the next 2 days, he will spend his time on the island, surrounded in nature. She believes this will give him a clearer mind, so he can present his case and save Earth. Ella spends the day with him, and they have fun and learn about each other. Ella learns about Ben's daughter, and Ben learns about the universe. While asleep, Ella puts a VR ring on Ben, and he wakes up in a very realistic VR world. Ella tells him the reason she brought him there is because it is the only place where they are totally free. She tells him she has something important to tell him. She starts by explaining why VR technology is banned. She tells him when the technology was first invented, people stopped living their lives and spent most of their time in the VR world. The government saw this as a threat and banned it. Ella reveals to him that their people were the same as humans. They had the same kind of evolution and the same kind of behaviors. They also had war, famine, racism, slavery. But they realized that was bad and stopped it early, which also helped them advance faster. But their crave for advancement and fear of conflict led them to a darker path. They believed the reason people become bad is because of emotions, so they eliminated that by using AI, now they don't feel anything. They don't feel love or hate. Advancements in medicine have also helped them to eliminate the family unit. All babies are born from machines and raised by AI, so no one is attached and loyal to another person. They are also basically immortal, but in order to not overpopulate, they are not allowed to live more than 200 years. The only people that are allowed to live more than that are council leaders like Gottlieb, who has lived for 500 years. Gottlieb has been loved by his people for centuries, but the new council is not fond of him. He is also the reason Ben is able to present his case for humanity. Ella then reveals that although most people followed the council's lead, there was a group of people that didn't want their emotion taken away. They wanted to live a life that was not controlled by an AI, so they decided to escape to the neighboring planet called Perso. Perso is like Mars, so the people have been terraforming it for the last 800 years. They have just come out to the surface and seem to be thriving now. There has not been any contact between the two planets, and they both have very destructive weapons, so no one tried to invade the other. Ella reveals the reason she is sharing this with him is because for the first time she has felt an emotion. She has studied humans for 100 years, but spending a few days with him has opened her eyes and let her see the beauty in emotions. The final day has arrived and Ben is ready to present his case to the council. He wears his earthcloth and starts his speech by saying he is no one special. He then talks about how human emotions can be destructive, but also they are also humans' greatest strength. He talks about love, compassion, kindness, which are things that make humans full, and taking those away will also take away the human experience. He also challenges their morals and values. He brings up that they took him away from his family without consent. He points out that even though they claim they are better than humans, they violate basic human rights. He ends his speech by arguing that humans should be given a chance and that they should have their own journey and forge their own path. The council deliberate on his case for a day and decide to not interfere with Earth. Ben is ecstatic to hear that and is excited to get back to his daughter, but this is when the bad news comes. Ella reveals to him that since the aliens are not interfering with Earth, he wouldn't be sent back. If humans knew even the existence of these aliens, it would mess up with the natural path of technological advancement, so Ben would not be allowed to go back. Ben is shocked to hear this and is angry at Ella for not telling him this before. He believes she manipulated him and refuses to hear her explanation. In the next few days, Ben doesn't leave his room and his health starts deteriorating. Ella runs tests on him and it shows that he doesn't have any illness. But she realizes what is killing him is knowing he won't be able to see his daughter again. Seeing him suffer really hurts her. So one night, Ella sneaks into Ben's room and wakes him up from his sleep. She then tells him he is going back to Earth and the two sneak out of the building and get into a spaceship. Ella then takes him to the planet Perso. She has risked her life and defected from her planet to allow him to go back to his family. The two meet up with the governor of Perso and Gottlieb. The governor thanks him for opening their people's eyes to the truth, and Gottlieb thanks him for giving him hope. Ella and Ben then travel to a nearby interstellar ship. The two then say their goodbyes and share a final kiss. Ben is then put in a cryosleep and he wakes up at the exact place he was taken from. 2 months has passed since he was taken and the area is covered with snow. He manages to find his way to the main road and reunites with Mike and Olivia shortly after. He tells them everything, but no one believes him except Olivia. Mike thinks Ben just disappeared and he recommends Ben to go see a therapist. But Olivia fully believes him. She tells him she knows he will never leave her willingly, and the father and daughter even grow closer. Olivia has decided to spend more time with her father, so in the next few days, we see Ben and Olivia spending quality father-daughter time together and having a great time. One day, while doing laundry, Ben finds the VR ring in his jeans. He contemplates wearing them, but decides against it. But after 2 days, Ben puts on the ring and he is brought to the VR world where Ella has been waiting for him, and the movie ends as the couple run towards each other and hug.